future of the Army's Warrior armoured vehicles, regarded by senior military figures as vital to major combat operations, has been secured after a long-awaited £1 billion upgrade was confirmed today. It means their role is safe through to 2040 and beyond. Prime Minister David Cameron and Defence Secretary Philip Hammond revealed the news during a visit to Lockheed Martin UK in Bedford. James Hurst has the details.
The Warrior has been in service with the Army since 1989. It's seen action in the Balkans, Iraq and Afghanistan, and it will now be serving a lot longer. To date, the Prime Minister met some of those who rely on the Warrior and got a chance to see inside one of the vehicles as he announced the government is going to spend £1 billion upgrading hundreds of Warriors to keep them in service until and beyond 2040.
Warrior has been the workhorse and the battle winner for us in a number of campaigns, from the peace enforcement end of the spectrum up to full-blown combat in the Gulf twice. And it's used day to day in some pretty aggressive roles in Afghanistan. And these upgrades are about, keeping pace with changes in the battlefield over the next 20-odd years to make sure that Warrior keeps doing that.
Welcome back everyone, it's me Matt. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. This is not a video I ever wanted to have to make. I knew I was going to have to make it one day, I just didn't quite think it was going to be today. Of course, many of you are probably aware of the huge transitions in the British Army's structure of armoured warfare and how they're utilising armoured fighting vehicles in the modern force, and there's been some major restructuring. We've talked a little bit about it already with the Challenger 3 upgrade coming out, which is obviously very good news. I've also made videos about the Boxer infantry fighting vehicle that is coming to, obviously, the fighting force of the British Army, and Ajax as well. Ajax, the replacements for CVRT, which is a much-needed requirement change, I think. Wholeheartedly, I do love the CVRT, but it's time. But I never thought I would be having this conversation with you and saying that the British Army Warrior 510 and its series will be replaced, and will be replaced wholeheartedly by Boxer. Now, if you're not aware of what the Warrior is, it is the infantry fighting vehicle, the staple infantry armoured fighting vehicle of the British Army, and has been for a very long time. Warrior has done more than I think any armoured fighting vehicle has done in the British Army world. Beyond even CVRT, I would say it's a workhorse of armoured infantry and beyond. Even supports the artillery in its configuration for forward observation vehicles. Myself, I have operated on it a lot, and I've supported it in Afghanistan. I've nearly been killed in it several times. It's saved my life several times, and I have to say it is hands down my favourite fighting vehicle out there. I know I say it's the Challenger 2. As a main battle tank, yes, it is my favourite armoured fighting vehicle out there, but in terms of overall my favourite armoured fighting vehicle, it has to be the Warrior. It really has been an honour being able to operate and work alongside and within this vehicle and with its crews and with the regiments that have operated it. But it's time for it, unfortunately, to be retired. The announcement was made by the UK's Ministry of Defence that they will be replacing the Warrior with the Boxer vehicle, the new IFV that will be basically a mechanised infantry vehicle, and they're looking at getting it replaced by the middle of the decade. The Defence Command paper that was released earlier this year confirmed the long-rumoured plans that they were going to retire the entire fleet of Warrior IFVs, which I'm sure there's many of you out there watching this right now. It doesn't mean anything to them, it's whatever, it's just news. But for many of those who have operated these vehicles, have served alongside them, it's pretty bittersweet news. Like, it's not good. It's a bitter pill to swallow, honestly. Lockheed Martin, that have been working a lot to improve the Warrior Capability Sustainment Program, or CSP, have unfortunately been told recently that they are announcing all 158 jobs of their Amptail armoured fighting vehicle facility that they're closing down. The Warrior Capability and Sustainment Program has been cancelled completely. And that's tough, because a lot of money has gone into upgrading that vehicle. And the Warrior Capability and Sustainment Program, I know, had some doubts, some flaws. The 40mm CTAS caseless telescopic ammunition gun had some concerns from what I was being told. Believe it or not, folks, I was actually invited by CTAS manufacturers to actually come to their development center and trial the gun. But then COVID hit and I couldn't actually obviously fly anywhere to make that happen, which was a real disappointment. So clearly that's now not going to happen at all. It really ends the hopes of the contract that was worth around $1 billion to extend the service life of this vehicle. And that's a lot of money. Actually, it's not $1 billion, it's £1 billion. It's so much money that I feel has been wasted, gone down the drain. You know, this decision should have been made some time ago. If we weren't going to keep the Warrior, then why on earth did we spend huge amounts of money into it? I'm sure there's many political and MOD decisions as to why it happened, but it's a really hard thing to learn and to hear that they're kicking it while it's down. You know, they've put so much effort. I'm sure the team that have gone into, you know, dedicating their time and efforts to make sure that it works, the talented group that have actually come together as engineers and developers, and probably the army as well, soldiers that have helped develop this new technology, are probably pretty hurt right now, and I don't blame them. It's people losing their jobs. You know, the Ajax is really a good vehicle that's coming to the forefront. They've looked at trying to get the 40mm upgraded for multiple vehicles out there, and it's just not going to happen. You know, Lockheed Martin also manufactures the turrets for the Ajax, so that's a good thing. They're not going to lose that many jobs. But you've got to think about now all the armoured infantry units that are currently using Warrior and how they're probably feeling. I mean, personally, if I joined the British Army to work alongside tracked vehicles and in tracked fighting vehicles, I'd be pretty upset to be told I'm going into a wheeled Boxer. Now, I respect the Boxer. You know, I work in the military in the Canadian Armed Forces now, where we have wheeled armoured fighting vehicles, or infantry fighting vehicles, right? We have the LAVs. And I think that's going to be the future wholeheartedly for the majority of fighting forces nowadays, is going wheeled than it is tracked. Because tracked are a lot of maintenance, they're a lot of cost, but their effectiveness is second to none. And I can speak to that firsthand because I've actually operated in these vehicles. They've saved my life. I've put them through all sorts of challenges, whether it be on the prairie, the desert, the mud, the rain. I mean, they just keep going. And I've operated on them not only in a combat setting, but also in a mechanical setting. I know how they operate. I know the ins and outs of these vehicles. I could strip half of the thing down and with my eyes closed, because that's how intricately I know the Warrior. So it's really hard. It's really hard to tell you this information, because it's a very personal thing to me, because this is the only vehicle that I've actually had blood, sweat, and tears go into. And when they told us it's been cancelled, it's just like, yikes. Like, you know, it's really crazy to listen to realize that that's what's happening. Yeah, so, I mean, I can understand the reasoning behind it. You know, I think it all comes down to money at the end of the day, folks. It really does come down to money, which is unfortunate. That's how things go, you know. And I think programs in the future are obviously now going to be supported more. You know, Boxer and Ajax are going to get more funding now, and other things too. But it just hurts. You know, the program itself, when it was going to be upgraded, the program comprised of 3 parts: the Warrior Fightability Lethality Improvement Program, or WFLIP, the Warrior Enhanced Electronic Architecture, and the Warrior Modular Protection System. So there's a ton of updates this thing was going to get. And before the cancellation of the Warrior CSP, Lockheed Martin estimated the program would have amounted to about 1/3 of the workload of their main site when it went into production. So a lot of the efforts they were putting into were going to go towards Warrior. And it's really put years back of work to rebuild the UK's current design capabilities for Ajax and Warrior CSP turrets, which were designed in the UK since the Challenger 2 main battle tanks in the 1990s and the original IFVs in the 1980s. So, I mean, there's so much development that's got into this. It's baffling. And, you know, I think Boxer is going to be a good replacement. I can safely say, you know, it's been given a good run for its money, and it's lasted its time. It's done what it's needed to do. I would say it's mission accomplished for sure for the Warrior. But part of me just doesn't want to give up on it. You know, part of me wants to say, you know, what's going to happen next, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, what's going to happen next then? Well, here's what's going to happen. Basically, Warriors are going to stay in service. They're not going to get upgraded to the 40mm designs. The program will be scrapped, and then any that are left in service will be utilized for training up until Boxer fleets come out. There's not much details about this yet. We're still waiting to hear back as to, you know, what's going on with that. More than likely, you know, we'll keep using Warrior for quite a while. I wouldn't say quite a while, but some time until the Boxer fleets are all prepared and ready to go. And then they'll start doing transitions, you know, fixing a company of Warriors at a time, or a regiment at a time, with Boxers and etc., and Ajax probably at the same time. What they're going to do with the old Warriors is a mystery. I don't know if they're going to melt them down, sell them off. If they sell them to the civilian public, oh my goodness, I doubt that's going to happen. I know CVRTs have been made for sale and challenges and all that sort of stuff, but I think Warrior is going to be a little bit different, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if they sell Warriors, oh my goodness, I just don't know what I'll do. Not that I'll be able to buy one, of course, but it'd be really cool seeing people driving around in the streets of London in Warriors. I mean, you already see it when I do driver's tests and stuff. When I was in the British Army, you do driver's tests in Warriors around the streets all the time. But I'm just wondering what they're going to do with them. If they're going to mothball them, keep them for backup, just in case. It would make sense to do that. That's why I'd like to see what would happen with them, especially all the money that's been pumped into that upgrade program. I mean, personally, I would have liked for them to tie the knot, finish off the program, and make it as something as an upgrade package, if necessary, to bring into the, you know, mothball fleet if something really kicked off. And we talk about, you know, the future of modern warfare and how it looks, and they're very technology-driven right now. We've talked about Boxer already several times, about how it's all modular, and you can put different command modules on the back, and you could take, you know, the entire half of the vehicle off and turn it into a medic van, or an infantry fighting vehicle, or you know, a mortar carrier, or whatever else. That's a great benefit of Box, and that's why they're going towards it, because it's technologically advanced. Warrior has been around for a long time. It's just not keeping with the times, and the cost to get it with the times clearly just didn't have the bean counters sleeping very well at night. So, but I am actually going to be making a separate video in the near future dedicated to the Warrior. It's going to be a tribute video because, as I said, I have personal connection to this vehicle, and I think it deserves its own spotlight and thank you for its service. I'm not sure what they're going to do for its sort of graduation or retirement, I would say, parade. I'm sure they will do a retirement parade for Warrior and kind of the handover to Boxer. That'd be really cool to see. So I'm not too sure how they're going to do that, but it'd be wicked to see how and when they will. And I'd love to hear your opinion on Warrior. If you've served on Warrior, if you've been around Warrior, you've climbed on it in a museum or at an open day or anything, please let me know your opinion, because I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your experiences with this vehicle, and what do you think about it being retired? It's a big bit of news for me. I kind of somewhat expected it to happen, just didn't know it was going to happen this quickly. And I didn't think it was going to be all of them. I thought it was going to be a large portion of them, but hey, here we are. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. As I said, I will be making a follow-up video for this in the near future. If you did enjoy the video, please leave me a like and make sure you click the bell by the subscribe button so you can be notified of any upcoming videos in the future. Also, thank you to everyone who's been supporting my page and my channel on the financial side, whether it be via Patreon, PayPal, or being a member. I cannot thank you enough. That really does mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Really, really can't appreciate you all enough. And I hope to see you on the next video. All the best. Bye-bye.